My name is Kirsten Johnson, and I am with Humanitarian U, and we are doing a podcast series on professionalization in the humanitarian sector. And today I have with me Abdurrahman Alaydi, excuse me for the pronunciation, who is just returned from working with Médecins Sans Frontières in Yemen. And he's had an interesting career, and I think it is an interesting story in terms of professional humanitarian. And so, welcome, Abdurrahman.
Yeah, thank you.
And maybe you can just introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Abdurrahman Alaydi. I'm a medical doctor, and I was trained in emergency medicine. And I took a course in humanitarian. After that, I joined MSF, and I took first mission for 6 months in Yemen. Yeah.
Thank you. And you took our course, I believe, last year from Humanitarian U. So that's wonderful. So, but your background is what? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally Syrian Palestinian, I can say. I was living in Syria, then I moved to Doha, Qatar, and I worked there for 10 years almost, and then I moved to Canada, and yeah.
And you did your emergency medicine training here?
In Doha, Qatar.
In Doha,
no,
okay.
Not,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so now tell us a little bit more about your experience in Yemen, because of course that's a very, unfortunately, more recent conflict. Yeah. But I don't think a lot of people know that much about it. So perhaps you could give us a bit of background and then talk about what you were doing with MSF.
Yeah. The conflict in Yemen, it started almost more than a year now. And it's really a complicated conflict between, it's inside the country and it's from outside the country. So it's really complicated that if you are not in the context, it's difficult to understand very well what's going on there. I joined MSF and I went there for 6 months. I came just 1 month back. And that time it was like airstrike is going on. It's still there, and there's a lot of airstrikes. There's an enclave area in a city called Taiz, and I was walking almost 2 or 3 kilometers away from the siege in Taiz, and trauma. We opened a trauma center for MSF and mother and child hospital there.
Now, we actually did a podcast with Chris Houston earlier, and we talked about MSF hospitals that had been targeted, mostly in Syria. But I also understand that, of course, recently there was a targeted hospital in Yemen. And was your hospital targeted? Can you speak more to that?
Actually, there's a major hospital was targeted. It's in the north. But we did a scabies clinic, and that clinic, it was targeted second day we opened. Luckily, we evacuate half an hour before the airstrike. So we lose one of our security guard. He was killed in that airstrike, but the team was okay. But yeah, we were restricted after that. We evacuate for almost a week, and we couldn't be working there. We stopped our activity there, then we start again. The other hospital, it was in the north, and it was targeted also. I don't have enough information about exactly what's happened there, because it's following the other sector.
And how did you know that the airstrike would happen to evacuate 1/2 hour before?
Actually, we got an airstrike 2 kilometers away from our hospital, our clinic. So at that time we decide that, okay, we will, there is nobody's coming, and then, okay, just move out because no patients. So after we move, we got another airstrike, and it was,
wow.
Yeah, it was on the tent. Yeah.
Now, how did that affect you on a personal level? I mean, just knowing that you missed being hit by an airstrike by half an hour, and you're working in this very volatile area. I mean, even if you have a good personal security detail, you're still at risk. How did you feel? How did that affect you?
Yeah, I think when I came back to Canada, I was asked a question when it was the time you feel that you are unsecured or unsafe, I can say 2 times. One of them is this one. It was like when our clinic was targeted, and the other one was, and we evacuate and we kept away for a week, and the hospital was almost closed for a couple of days, and nobody was getting a benefit from the hospital. And the second time, it was also it was like I was in the office in the capital, and the airstrike was just, I think, 400 meters away from the office, and that time also we feel unsecured. We are trying our best, but without like the conflict people giving us a chance to work, we can't just work. Yeah.
And so is MSF on reduced operations in Yemen now as a result of these airstrikes and targeted hospitals being targeted?
Actually, we are evacuating for a while, but we are trying again and again to get into the area where we can do. We are trying to like communicate with all partners in this war and try to facilitate as much as we can our work there. But we are doing our best, but it's not always.
You know, it's interesting because to me, I wonder what you tell the broader humanitarian community about the future of being secure in a humanitarian response when so often now hospitals are the target. And I mean, you're quite brave, and you talked a little bit about how you felt, but certainly that, you know, you're still committed to an effort to serve these people, and MSF opening additional hospitals, I suppose, or continuing its operations. So, you know, what is the message? What's the future as we look at this as a more regular occurrence?
Yeah, mainly it's that we are not a target. We are like doctors and trying to help everybody. We are neutral, working with everybody. So I think they need to give us a good space to work secure to all partners or all people who's in the war. We need really to feel secure, then to continue to be able to do whatever we are doing there, to help people, to give them a good treatment in very bad situations like wars. Yeah.
And so once your hospital was closed down, what kind of what were you doing on a day-to-day basis? What was your mission?
We just closed for a week, and actually we evacuated to the capital. We wait till that situation calm down, and the people request us again to come, please. And we communicate again with all people in the conflict, and we get back. During that time, we are trying to support the hospital. For 2 days, it was closed. Then we open it again,
okay.
But we are supporting them from far away. Yeah,
that's wonderful. Now, just a bit of a question, not so much on the MSF hospital, but in terms of humanitarianism and humanitarian efforts in the Middle East. This is, of course, an area that's been, it has about 50% of the world's conflicts, if not more. We're talking about professionalism, and I just wonder, do you feel that there's a movement to build humanitarianism in the Middle Eastern countries? It hasn't been there traditionally, but Islamic Relief and the Red Crescent and so on. You were recruited from MSF Canada.
Yeah.
Are there more and more regional operations and organizations that are coming to the floor? Or are you? Are we still? It's really an international response. Just
like what I can get from your question. They are starting in that area. It's not like still they need to understand the area. They need to understand more the culture there, but they get a good acceptance. MSF mainly they got a good acceptance. even all humanitarian section, they are supported and they got a good acceptance by the population. But they need, I think, to had more idea about how is it going there in the Middle East, and to be more like in the media in the Middle East, so they will be more understandable for the people there, because like it's not so common in the population there. What's the humanitarian? What
It's
are they doing?
not.
So yeah, a lot of them, they will think that this is Western and they are coming to change something. So this idea, you need time to change it, and you need also to give efforts in the media to give the message, clear message, that we are just doing the help for the people.
And are there many local response? Is there many community-based organizations, humanitarian organizations, either from Yemen or from neighboring countries that are responding to the emergency there?
Yeah, actually, there's some. But frankly, I don't know, like, if they are, because like they are part of the war there, so you don't know how they are acting there. So I don't have a good idea about other sector. I know more about MSF, and I think we are doing a good job there. Yeah.
Well, I think you're one of the only international organizations there
Working.
working in Yemen.
I think I met some people from local, like I think Islamic Relief. I met some of them in the airport while I was moving, and they are working there. What exactly they are doing, I don't have a good idea. And Red Cross also, they are trying to get in. They are getting some acceptance, but it's not like MSF actually. They are getting better acceptance.
Okay. Now, do you intend to continue your work with MSF? You've just come back. It's been a month.
Yeah.
And you've had a bit of a break. What's your next step? Do you consider yourself now kind of more of a professional humanitarian, or do you still see yourself as a physician first and a humanitarian second?
It's really because like you are living in really difficult situations, and so you need to think a lot before. I will continue, but like for short missions, I will do that. But it's not like it's really difficult for me, because like I have a family here and I need to spend time with my family and my kids. So for this reason, it will be difficult. Maybe later, when my kids will grow up, yeah, maybe I will consider this more. But yes, I will continue, but it will be not like a first, like it will be the second actually.
Well, that's always the challenge, combining family and children with humanitarian work, and maybe that's the topic for another podcast. And I think it brings to light a lot of the common kind of shared issues that we all face, and these push and pull. And certainly, though, you've done a wonderful job, and thank you for your work with MSF in Yemen. It's been a fascinating story to hear. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I've enjoyed speaking with you. And Abdurrahman is a graduate of one of our courses, so it's really neat to see what your path has been since you did our simulation and our training course last year. And it's wonderful to see you back, safe and sound. So thank you very much. This is Kirsten Johnson signing off, and have a great day.
Thank you.